going to give you a trivia question, Cenk. There was a billionaire early on in Trump's second term, a really, really rich guy. You remember his name? Exactly. Yeah. Nobody has seen him. Nobody remembers him. His name was Elon Musk, and he was a huge presence at the beginning of the Trump administration, which, when I say at the beginning of the Trump administration, it's a few months ago. Trump went out of his way to associate with the Tesla CEO, and now Trump and his administration have completely abandoned his buddy. The data on how fast they dropped him from their messaging is remarkable, and we'll get to that shortly. But first, Cenk, why do you think we don't see Elon at all anymore?
I think there's two reasons. One is the polling that Michael's going to tell you about, and Trump adjusts. I know some folks don't believe that, but he adjusts all the time. And the second reason is because Tesla stock is crashing, and he realized, oh right, that's where I make all my money, and so he had to scurry back to that. So
I think there's a third reason too, which is I got what I wanted from. I got a ton of money in the general election, and I don't need it anymore. I'm not running again, although he thinks he is. But
Elon might have gotten what he wanted too.
Of course he did, yeah. He got wealthy. I mean, Dogecoin. He was able to name a department, the Doge department. The government, the Department of Government Efficiency, which coincidentally is the name of his coin.
It's like if I went into Bernie's cabinet and then we came up with a department called TYT.
Right, exactly.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyway, Politico ran the numbers, Cenk, on how often Trump mentioned Elon Musk. I love this coverage in his Truth Social posts. And take a look at this data. Trump has stopped posting about Musk now, but these are the numbers on this graph here. As you can see, Elon came up most often in the months of February and March, just after the president was inaugurated. But since April, Trump has not mentioned Elon Musk on a Truth Social post one single time. The same pattern holds when you look at the posts from accounts affiliated with Trump, like the White House and Trump War Room. So Trump-linked accounts are posting about Musk, as you see, less often there. Again, those accounts frequently mention Musk in February and March, but starting in April, you can look there, he was brought up far less often. And if that wasn't enough data for you, Cenk, look at this one. In February, Trump's fundraising operation invoked Musk in emails to online supporters on a near daily basis, but mentions of Musk in fundraising appeals, and those haven't stopped, abruptly stopped in early March. Since then, Trump has sent only one fundraising message mentioning Musk, a May email touting a Gulf of America hat that the Tesla CEO had tried on. So why is this the case? Well, as you mentioned before, there are reasons. Likely, one of them is that Musk has promised to prioritize Tesla over his government work, and that's because Tesla is tanking and been in a lot of trouble. And Musk's poll numbers themselves have been going down as well. They've trailed Trump's. An anonymous GOP operative told Politico that, quote, he's finished, done, gone. He polls terrible. People hate him. He'd go to Wisconsin, think he can buy people's votes, wear the cheese hat, act like a 9-year-old. It doesn't work. It's offensive to people. And so what they're referring to there is Musk going up for that Supreme Court election in Wisconsin, a special election, and having no effect. The Republican lost there, and if he can't have an effect in Wisconsin with all that spending, what good is he? Even Republican Senator Jim Justice of West Virginia admitted that Musk may have worn out his welcome. He stated, "We got too close to the fence. We mowed too far." I do like that. We just adjust. That's the process that's going on. Justice also stated that Musk was a patriot trying to do good. Cenk?
Yeah, so the polling's bad. It's actually not as disastrous as I would have imagined. He's got a 38 approval rating in the last poll that I saw and 60% disapproval. So that sucks. That's 22 points underwater. But given how obnoxious he was and how many jobs he cut of innocent people, I would have thought that it might be even lower in the 30s.
Well, I mean, but you come in with the MAGA 35 hard, right? And they're just going to like anything that is associated with Trump. That's not to say that there was a huge MAGA showing in that poll, but so I think 35 is always your bottom, your floor.
I think 28's your bottom. That's what I see in the polling for like really, you can't believe that. That's really nuts. And 28% of Republicans voting. No, I believe it. So anyways, or 28% of the country, unfortunately, which makes it a little bit higher percentage of Republicans. So, okay, now, yeah, he's hurt, dog. Don't ask him if he's all right. The Tesla stock was totally crashing, and they had begun to look for a new CEO. And that's part of what sent the panic out too. But now back to Wisconsin. Remember, Trump won Wisconsin. It was by a small margin, but he won it. And they lost that Supreme Court seat by 10 points. And that was Elon Musk going, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to win this seat, I'm trying to win this seat. And people were like, vote against him, vote against him.
Right.
So that's
trying to buy votes too, I mean, literally. So.
Yeah, and in a swing state that's super important like Wisconsin, for Musk to cost you 10 points, that's a very bad perception. And Trump, remember, he's the guy who once he takes your money, he thinks, I don't owe you anything anymore, right? I already got your money and you're a sucker. So here, presumably, Trump's not gonna run again. So he's like, Elon, thanks for the $290 million, but if you're hurting my polling,
goodbye.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he values loyalty so much, does Trump. But he's the first to be disloyal, which is amazing. So like he will not stick by someone who's failing, their company is failing, not at all. And that's what you're seeing at play here too. Those numbers go down, the company's failing, I want to get as far away as I can. But if it was Musk who left him, it would be an outrage.
Yeah, and that's also like a Don, right? A mafia boss.
Yeah, of course.
Right, like, Tony, what's going on here, huh? Right, but on the other hand,
get like an imitation.
Of course, I am from Jersey, but he'd whack Tony in a second if he thought he could make a dime out of it, right? In that analogy. Okay, so look, last thing is, Democrats had already been planning to run all their elections based on Elon Musk. So now they're having to adjust. Guys, stop with the bad guy on the other side. We're slightly worse, well, Freudian slip, no, slightly better than the terrible guy is not a good strategy. Come up with a strategy where you say, we're awesome. Look at these wonderful things we would do for you, the voters, and how it would affect your life. And then actually deliver. I know, it's really complicated. I just saw politics. But unfortunately, the Democrats haven't. So they were hoping to run against Elon, but now that he's gone, they're gonna have to come up with a new strategy. All right, thank you, Michael. Thank you to everybody. We appreciate all the members. Stay right here. Ben Cohen of Ben & Jerry's next. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.